What's up, traders? So today I'm going to show you guys an insane trading strategy that's going to work with forex, crypto, stocks, auctions, pretty much any market, you name it, and it combines price action with elite algo, guys. Now, if you're an elite algo user, this might be a little bit of a harder video for you guys to grasp and a little bit harder of a strategy, but I guarantee you guys, if you guys watch this 37 times and you get it down pat, I guarantee that you're going to be trading like a professional in no time, guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so for this strategy, guys, we're going to be using Heikin-Ashi candles. I'm not going to go super detailed into Heikin-Ashi candles, so if you guys want to learn exactly what they are and how they work, make sure you go on YouTube and just type up Heikin-Ashi candle tutorial or something. There's going to be millions of videos there out there that can teach you exactly what Heikin-Ashi candles do and what they are, right? But for this video, the reason why we're going to be using Heikin-Ashi candles is because they help filter out a lot of noise in the market, and because you can easily identify momentum just by checking if there's any top wick or bottom wick on a candle. So for example, if you see like over here, there's no top wick on these candles, that basically means that there's a lot of momentum going downwards and that you should stay in the trade. All right, guys. Same thing with the vice versa, guys. If you take a trade, like for example up here, and you see that there's no bottom wicks on these candles here, guys, that basically means there's a lot of momentum in the market and you guys should stay in the trade. So very, very important you guys understand how Heikin-Ashi candles work. And if you don't know how they work, make sure you go on YouTube and just type up a simple tutorial, then come back to this video after. Okay, guys? All right, guys. So the first thing we want to do for this strategy is we want to know exactly what type of market we're in. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out on the chart and we're going to see if we're creating lower highs or higher highs. And right now we can see that we are creating lower highs, as you guys can see. So the chart is consistently getting lower and lower every single time, guys, and making lower lows as well, right? And so now looking at this chart, we can easily identify that we're looking at a bearish market in the overall long term, right, guys? So if we were to drop our trend lines, it would look something like this, right? We have as many touches as possible right here, and then we have another trend line going from here to there. So that would be our channel, guys, right? So right now, as we can see, we're heading downwards. So to increase our win rate, we only want to be looking for short opportunities in this specific chart, right, guys, on the 4-hour time frame for British pound US dollar. Very simple. Now the second thing we want to do is we want to draw up our points of resistance and support. Okay, now EliteAlgo automatically does that for you, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to do it manually ourselves. Okay, so right now we can see that if I were to draw up our support and resistance lines, guys, we can see that right here we have a very strong point of currently support, right? That's one area. We can see that over here we had a very strong area of support as well around this area, and we can keep drawing these up, guys. Another one right there, another one up here, right? So these are key levels in the market where you need to kind of be paying attention to. Make these a little smaller, because these are the areas where we can potentially see the price action change directions, guys, right? And that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get that change in direction. So that's what we're pretty much aiming for, right? Now, once we have our chart drawn up, so once it looks like this, guys, what we want to do now is we want to get our short-term trend line going, right, guys? So for example, if we go back into this area right here, right, if we go back into that area right there, we can see that over here there was a short-term trend line that was going like this, right, guys? So the price kept on going up, coming back down, touching this line, come back up, touch this line, before finally breaking this specific short-term trend line. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to catch it on this specific move, guys, where it breaks this trend line, and that's where we want to enter the trade, right, guys? So for this example, if we turn on EliteAlgo, we can see that EliteAlgo, using the hair trigger settings, so basically the smallest settings as possible, because we're not using EliteAlgo right now as a signal giver. We're using EliteAlgo more as a confirmation. Okay, so we can see that it gave a smart sell signal right here as soon as this trend line was broken. So this right here, on this signal right there, this would be your entry, guys. So you'd enter right here as soon as that trend line was broken, and your trade would look something like this, guys. So right there, your stop loss will always be above the first resistance, so around this area, right, above our trend line and above our first resistance, which is this. We'll make this line red so you guys can see it. Not sure if you guys can see that, but let's make it a little thicker. Now you guys can see there's a gigantic big red line right there. That is where the last resistance is. We're going to put our stop loss slightly above that. Okay, guys? And we're going to take our take profit. We're going to put it at the next support. So this is what our trade will look like, guys. And we'd have made a simple 183 pips right here on this one trade, guys. Just by waiting until the short-term trend line breaks, we get a signal confirmation from EliteAlgo, and we're heading in the long-term direction going downwards, guys. So this is pretty much how you trade with trend lines and support and resistance using this strategy right here. Very, very simple, guys. We'll have another example here real quick. So let's take off these zones. Now we can see right now we had a short-term trend line right here, guys, from this support to up here. We can see they had a bunch of candles touching it, right? Candle here, came back up, touched it again, came back up before finally breaking that candle. Now we would have entered the trade at the candle close, so we would have entered it right here with Heikin-Ashi candles. Second. It would have gave us a signal around right there, guys. We would have used the stop loss would have been slightly a little bit high over here because again our stop loss is going to be above the last resistance, the closest resistance, and the take profit this time would have been at the bottom of our channel. So on this trade we would have made 187 pips if we were to take that trade. All right, guys, very simple using simple price action like this. We're just waiting for short-term trend line breaks to trade with a long-term trend line and using support and resistance as your take profit and your stop loss. So that's just one more example. We'll give one more last example, guys, of a trade we can currently take right now, possibly if it were to break the trend line. So we can see right here, guys, we have a trend line kind of forming around right here, guys. So we have a smart sell right now, right, on EliteAlgo. We don't know if it's going to close underneath this trend line yet, but I have a pretty good idea that we're probably going to end up going downwards from here on. So this trade here will probably go like this and just start going down right here. And the reason why we can say that is because we're using also support and resistance, guys. So as we can see right now, we are currently at a point of very strong resistance where it's going to have a hard time breaking this area, guys. So if we were to draw a box, that's going to look like this. 1 second. Right here. We can see that this general area, guys, is a very strong area of resistance. And it's probably going to have a hard time breaking that area before coming back down. So we can kind of take this trade here once we get that candle closes underneath this trend line, and this is probably going to be a winning trade. Right, guys? So that's pretty much it. That's how you trade using trend lines and support resistance. We're going to take a look at a different chart. We're going to draw it up just so we get more familiar with it. Okay, guys? All right, guys. So now we know exactly how to trade when the market is going a certain direction. But now I'm going to show you guys how to trade when the market switches directions. Okay, guys? Very, very simple. As we can see right now, we're looking at USD CAD on a 4-hour time frame, and we can see, guys, that it was going up before it started kind of breaking that upwards momentum. It started going downwards, and we can see that if we drop a trend line, right? So if we drop a trend line right here, we can see that it was going up on this trend line. It touched it a couple times down here, up here, up here, before finally breaking it, right, guys? So now we know that the market is changing directions, and it's probably going to go into a bearish market or a sideways market, right, guys? And if we're trying to capitalize on this specific market, guys, and try and trade with it, what we would want to do is we would want to trade the retest going into the trend line. So for example, right now we can see that this trend line was broken up here, right, guys, before coming back down. Now the majority of the time, once a trend line is broken, 90% of the time that same market is going to go back up and retest that trend line as resistance, right? So we can see in this area that we have a very strong form of resistance right here. And we can see that it came back up and touched this trend line before coming back down. Now, if we were looking to capitalize on this trade right here back on October 6th, guys, and we were using EliteAlgo, we can see that EliteAlgo, using the hair trigger settings, again, really short-term sensitivity on EliteAlgo, so it's going to give you a lot of false signals, but we're not looking for it as a signal provider. We're looking at it more of a confirmation to our analysis on the chart, right, guys? So we can see that it gave a smart sell signal right here, guys, once it failed to break that trend line and started a downward market, guys. So again, I would have taken this trade and it would have looked something like this. It would have been our stop loss would have been slightly above the support, the resistance, and our take profit would have been at the last support area, which I would assume that would have been around right there, guys. And that's what the trade would have been, right? Very simple. We have the long-term trend line breaking, the price action going back up to retest it, and failed to break through that resistance before giving us a sell signal, and that's a signal that I would have taken. So that's exactly how you guys want to trade short-term trend lines and long-term trend lines using price action like support resistance. It's that simple, guys. If you guys want more videos like this, I can make more. I can even do live trading with doing exactly this, because this is my exact trading strategy. So if you guys like that, make sure you comment down below and make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for future videos, guys. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.